Have you ever noticed how some touches linger in your memory long after the moment has passed? Not the polite, fleeting kind, not the casual hug exchanged out of habit or social obligation. I'm talking about the ones that quietly echo in the body, that leave a trace your mind can't name, but your nervous system refuses to forget. Most human interactions are disposable. We shake hands, we pat backs, we hug, and then it's gone, forgotten, like it never happened. But occasionally, a single deliberate touch imprints itself. It stays with you, not because of words spoken or charm or intensity, but because it carried presence. The kind of presence that doesn't scream, that doesn't demand attention. It simply exists, grounded, confident, unshakable. This is not about manipulation. It's not about tricks or games. It's about understanding the language of the body. How a calm, intentional touch communicates safety, awareness, and subtle attraction. The average hug, polite, procedural, friendly. A handshake in disguise. It says we are acquaintances, nothing more. And the brain responds accordingly. Alert but neutral, comfortable but detached. No spark, no resonance. But when touch is delivered with intention, something changes. The body registers safety. The nervous system relaxes. Attention sharpens. Even the heart notices. Neuroscience calls this a somatic imprint. Somatic, relating to the body. Imprint, lasting memory. It's not about persuading the mind. It's about leaving a sensory echo that continues to influence perception long after the embrace ends. There are three pillars to this kind of touch: tempo, stillness, and anchor. Tempo. Most interactions are rushed. Hands move too quickly, energy is scattered, and the hug is over before the body even notices. But slowing the pace, just slightly, interrupts expectation. It draws attention, commands focus. It signals control and calm without a single word. Stillness. This is harder than it seems. Once you're in the embrace, do nothing. Do not speak, do not pat, do not adjust. Simply exist. Your presence becomes the message. Your calm becomes contagious, and her body, wired to sense subtle shifts in safety and dominance, starts to respond. Anchor. Most men instinctively place their hands high on the shoulders, the upper back, or around the chest. It feels safe. It says, I'm friendly, I'm polite. It is the biological equivalent of the friend zone. The right anchor, however, lies lower, firm, grounded, close enough to feel supportive yet non-invasive. It communicates subtle possession, protective presence, and authority without intrusion. The psychology here is profound. Primal attraction doesn't arise from movement or intensity. It arises from calm, deliberate, embodied presence. From someone who moves slowly, touches thoughtfully, and communicates through their body, not their words. Even the briefest embrace, when executed with intention, leaves a neurological trace, a memory that her body recalls long after the moment ends. Not coercive, not flashy, not overtly sexual, simply magnetically present. Most people never notice this. They move through the world touching superficially. Their hugs are social currency, polite gestures, invisible to the nervous system. And desire, quiet, profound, primal, slips past unnoticed. But when someone understands the language of touch, even a short hug can rewire perception. It creates what psychologists call a state shift. Her body moves from alert analytical mode to relaxed receptive state. The moment transforms from ordinary to unforgettable. This is where science meets subtle artistry, where psychology meets presence, where a single deliberate touch communicates calm authority, protective confidence, and quiet attraction, all without a single word. And here's the key. It doesn't require force. It doesn't require intensity. It requires patience, stillness, and mindfulness. The hug becomes a mirror, a reflection not of her feelings, but of your presence. The clearer, calmer, and more intentional you are, the more the moment resonates. The simplest acts often hold the greatest power. A hug done poorly passes unnoticed. A hug done correctly creates a lasting imprint that the mind cannot rationalize, but the body cannot forget. And in this quiet mastery of presence, something remarkable happens. You stop performing. You stop needing to impress. You simply embody calm confidence. And when that energy is genuine, attraction follows naturally. This is not seduction, it's refinement. It's mastery over self. It's the kind of presence the Stoics valued: steady, grounded, intentional.
Most people underestimate the power of speed, or rather, the lack of it. We rush through interactions because it feels polite, social, efficient, safe. But social safety is not what creates attraction. Primal response arises when the unexpected occurs, when calm authority interrupts habitual expectation. Consider this: if every hug is quick, your energy blends with routine. Her nervous system barely notices. She perceives friendliness, but nothing else. Now, slow down. Move 25% slower than socially normal. Not dramatically, just enough to signal intention, to communicate presence. When done correctly, her body hesitates, attention shifts, curiosity awakens. The mind may try to rationalize. Why does this feel different? Meanwhile, the body records, this is not ordinary, this is deliberate. Tempo is the rhythm of dominance without aggression. It is the quiet statement, I am here, I am grounded, I do not hurry. And your energy, unrushed, deliberate, begins to shape hers. Next is stillness. Stillness is deceptively simple. It is not absence. It is focused presence, a concentrated pause in which nothing else exists except the connection between two bodies. Most men feel compelled to speak, pat, or adjust, to break silence with reassurance, to comfort themselves as much as the other. But sound and movement dilute the impact. They return the interaction to friendship, neutral, forgettable. True stillness is a signal. It communicates calm, confidence, and stability. The body responds. Parasympathetic activation occurs. Heart rate slows. Breathing eases. The nervous system relaxes into a state simultaneously safe and receptive. Stillness transforms a hug from a social gesture into a somatic experience. It is the difference between casual contact and a memory etched into the nervous system. And now we come to anchor. This is the most misunderstood part. Most men instinctively reach high, shoulders, upper back, or chest, safe, familiar, socially acceptable, and forgettable. Anchor is about connecting where vulnerability and support meet. It is firm, deliberate, intimate without intrusion. For a woman, this is often the lower back, the lumbar curve. Your hand resting here communicates more than 1,000 words: support, presence, quiet authority. A subtle biological statement: I am here, I see you, I hold this space. The mind may try to analyze, but it cannot. The body remembers. Weeks later, she recalls the feeling without recalling words. A neurological shortcut has been created, an imprint of calm, grounded, masculine presence. The combination of tempo, stillness, and anchor forms a triad. Slow, intentional rhythm, unmoving, quiet authority, a grounded, subtle point of connection. When executed together, these three elements create what psychologists call state transfer. Your presence subtly shifts hers, from neutral observation to heightened awareness, from analytical caution to receptive curiosity, from safety to the subconscious recognition of subtle attraction. Consider what this teaches us about human behavior. We are not convinced by words. We are moved by presence, by energy, by embodiment, by someone who communicates with their body before the mind can rationalize. This is why deliberate touch works on a level beyond social scripts. It does not persuade, it imprints. It signals calm, controlled, confident, present.
Even the briefest hug can be transformative if it follows this sequence. Slow the tempo, hold stillness, anchor intentionally. Over time, the cumulative effect is profound. Women and humans in general do not forget embodied experiences that break expectation. They carry subtle imprints of presence, trust, and safety long after the interaction ends. This is the quiet mastery of human connection. Not flashy, not performative, not loud, but quietly irresistible. And it demonstrates something larger about life. Presence always outlasts action. Grounding always outlasts energy. The calm, deliberate approach outlasts the hurried, anxious one. To practice this is to practice stoic embodiment, to be present, intentional, and grounded, to communicate not through persuasion, but through being.
What most people fail to realize is this: moments of connection are never isolated. Even a brief, intentional touch echoes beyond the hug itself. It ripples through perception, memory, and behavior. It becomes a subtle thread that links one experience to another. When you slow your tempo, maintain stillness, and anchor your presence, you're doing more than touching the body. You're shaping the space between two people. You're crafting a language without words, a language that the mind struggles to decode, but the body recognizes instantly. Consider this: humans are wired to respond to presence more than persuasion. We are drawn to stability, to calm authority, to someone who exists fully in a moment without needing to dominate it. This is primal. It predates culture, dating, or conversation. It lives in the nervous system. It resides in the parasympathetic response. It is attraction without intention, curiosity without explanation. And here's the subtle power. Most men never practice this. They move through interactions mechanically. Friendly energy, quick gestures, empty touches. Polite, safe, forgettable. The deliberate man, however, shifts reality quietly. He creates presence as a gift, not to manipulate, but to communicate calm confidence, not to impress, but to embody grounded authority. Think of it as a stoic exercise in embodiment. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." In this context, the outside event is the hug. You cannot control perception entirely, but you can control your presence, your intention, your groundedness. By practicing tempo, stillness, and anchor consistently, your inner state begins to shape the outer world. The hug becomes a mirror of discipline, a reflection of quiet mastery over self, a window into composure and subtle authority. This is not about learning tricks. It is about learning a language of energy, touch, and attention, a language of calm, grounded masculinity, a language that communicates, "I am steady, I am reliable, I am present." And the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. Not because it is forced, but because it becomes a habit of being. The body and mind internalize it. You become someone who inhabits a space fully, calmly, intentionally, and others respond, naturally, instinctively. The greatest irony is this: the hug that leaves a lasting imprint is quiet. It is understated. It is the absence of urgency, not the presence of flair. Yet its impact is profound. It changes perception without a word. It shifts connection without a gesture of force. It transforms moments into memories. This is the essence of powerful human presence, and it extends far beyond attraction. It is the same energy that inspires trust, respect, and subtle influence in every relationship.
It is the energy that allows one to remain unshaken in social and professional situations alike. It is the energy cultivated by those who understand that mastery begins not in words, but in stillness and intent. To master this is to master a quiet authority, to understand that less can be more, that a single deliberate act, executed with calm precision, can carry more weight than 1,000 hurried gestures. The takeaway is simple but rarely practiced. Presence matters more than words. Calm intention matters more than motion. Embodied authority matters more than display. When you learn to slow, to hold still, and to anchor wisely, you are not merely giving a hug. You are giving a trace of your inner state, a moment of grounded clarity, a somatic imprint of composure and subtle strength. And in a world increasingly distracted, hurried, and disconnected, this is a rare gift. A touch that communicates confidence, trust, and awareness all at once. The body remembers what the mind cannot explain. The impact of intentional presence lingers long after the embrace ends. It is subtle, it is quiet, it is undeniable. And that, in essence, is the power of a deliberate hug. A simple moment transformed into a lasting imprint of presence, composure, and subtle authority. A small act that reflects mastery over self. A quiet exercise in stoic embodiment. A memory that lingers because it was crafted with intention.